So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over an AQA GCSE Maths Foundation topic test, Basic Algebra 3. Now as always there'll be a link in the description below for the test paper that we go through in this video for you to either have an attempt at before watching this video or while watching this video as we go through the answers. So before we get started on working through this test paper, it's worth mentioning that there's no indication about whether these questions will appear on a calculator or non-calculator paper, as because algebra can appear on both. So it's worth making sure that you're able to do these questions without a calculator, thus allowing you to do it with a calculator. So let's get started. So looking at question 1, it says work out the value of this. So what we need to do first is we need to do the powers first. So let's get so here we've got to do 24 plus 4 times 9. And then we work out the 4 times 9, which is going to be 36. So we've got 24 plus 36, which gives us an answer of 60. And looking at question 2, it says simplify. So again, you want to multiply numbers with numbers. So 6 times 2 is 12. D times D, which is D squared. And then we've got an E, which is by itself. So it's 12D squared E. Then for B, it says write as a single fraction in its simplest form. So we need to write this as our numerator. So that's going to be 5g cubed. Then divide means we can draw our line. And then we've got 8h squared. Now from this, nothing really cancels out. So it's just going to be 5g cubed over 8h squared. Then moving on to question 3, it says match each card on the left with a card on the right, and it says the first one has been done for you. So here with double n, we're looking for 2n, which is the one at the bottom. For 5 less than n, that's going to be n minus 5. Then n squared is exactly just that. And then double n and plus 1, that's going to be 2n plus 1. And then add 1 and then double the answer. Well, that's going to be n plus 1 and then in brackets and then multiplied by 2. So that should be our connection. Moving on to question 4, it says Andrew pays £P for his phone. Liz pays 3 times as much as Andrew. Laura pays £20 less than Liz. Write an expression for the total they all pay. Simplify your answer. So for Andrew, that's going to be little p. For Liz, that pays 3 times as much as Andrew. That's going to be 3p. And then Laura pays 20 less than Liz, and that's going to be, if Liz pays 3p and Laura pays 20 less, then that's going to be 3p minus 20. So in adding all of those expressions up, so let me just write that down. And then collecting all of my p's together, so I get 7p minus 20. Then moving on to question 5. So here now we're looking at factorising. Now remember, with factorising, you want to take the highest common factor out of the numbers and the lowest common factor out of the letters. So looking at this, we've got 20 and we've got 16. So we need to look at what's the biggest number that goes into both 20 and 16, and that's going to be 4. So that's where we set up a bracket. So 4 times what gives you 20? That's going to be 5, and we need an A. And then we plus, and then 4 times what gives you 16? It's going to be a 4. Then looking at question 5, it's 5b, it says 30 and 45. So we've got numbers in both terms. What's the biggest number that goes into 30 and 45? Well, that's going to be 15. And then we should end up with 2b minus 3. Then with C, we've got numbers and letters. So taking out the highest common factor of 16 and 24, which is going to be 8. And then taking the lowest power of the common letter, that's just going to be a single C. So for the first term, I've got 8, but I want 16, so I need a 2. And I've got C and I want C cubed, so I need another 2 more C's. And then plus 8 times what gives you 24, that's going to be 3. I've got 1 C and I need 1 C, so that's going to be fine. So that there is my final answer. Then moving on to the last question. Again, we've got numbers and we've got 2 letters as well. So looking at the numbers, we want to look at the biggest number that goes into both 18 and 27. That's going to be 9. Now both the 2 terms have got D's and E's, so it's definitely going to have D's and E's outside. The only question is, what are the power of going to be of those letters? So looking at the smallest power of D, that's going to be D cubed. And looking at the smallest power of E, that's just going to be 1. So then multiplying this, we've got 9 and I want 18, so I need 2. Remember, we're multiplying. I've got 3 D's and I want 3 D's, that's fine. I've got 1 E and I want 1 E, so that's fine as well. Then moving on to the next term, I've got 9, but I want 27, so I need to multiply that by 3. I've got 3Ds, but I need 5Ds, so I need another 2 more. And I've got 1E, and I've got 1E, so I need 1E, and I've got 1E, and that's fine. So there is my final answer.